The Essendon Football Club means so much to so many people. From its humble origins in the northern suburbs of Melbourne, the club has amassed a record number of premierships and has a decorated record on the field. But it's the countless stories of its people, players, coaches, members and supporters and its staff that make the club so special. For me, it's the stories passed on by my grandfather, Jack Jones. His stories of camaraderie, of mateship and of success are memories I will cherish forever. Today we launch into an historic year for the club. It is a year to reflect on a remarkable journey that so many have contributed to and a unique legacy built over time.
The Essendon Football Club is one of the world's oldest sporting clubs. Founded in Melbourne's northern suburbs 150 years ago. Attendances for Essendon's matches over the past century have totalled more than 70 million. The club has a footprint throughout Australia and shares the record for most titles in the nation's biggest sporting competition, the Australian Football League.
Right on, let's go.
For this film, we've interviewed more than 80 people, and all have their stories to tell.
Essendon Footy Club has been the biggest thing in my life.
Well, it's defined me. As much as your family can define you, Essendon's defined me.
By the time I retired, I'd spent more than half my life here.
The fellas that I played against and saw in my career was fantastic.
From Albert Thurgood to Reynolds to Coleman, and then to Shiels, who really took Essendon from being a very good suburban club to make an Australian iconic brand.
And some of the iconic faces of the great red and black feature there. Hello and welcome to this special celebration as we look back at the 150 years of the Essendon Football Club. It is my great pleasure to welcome the President of the Bombers, Paul Brasher. Welcome. And the Chief Executive Officer, Xavier Campbell. Paul, I'll start with you. This is a really important and significant occasion for the club. How are you feeling as we approach this milestone?
Well, I'm really excited, which I wouldn't have expected to be. If you told me 3 years ago that I'd get excited about 150th, I might have thought it was run-of-the-mill. It's not that. It's massively significant. The glib reason is that it's not unique, but it's almost unique in sporting clubs. 150 years, that's longer than Manchester United, the New York Yankees, most of the clubs you'd think about. But the better answer is that what we're going to be celebrating in our 150th year is the 1,200 players who have played in red and black over that time and the literally millions of supporters whose lives have revolved around the Essendon Football Club. And that's something really, really special to me.
And because history can also influence the here and now, and we've seen that a lot this year with Ben Rutten and his reliance on the rich history of the Bombers to enrich the current playing group. What do you hope that this can do for young fans and supporters and also the players that are currently on the list? Yeah,
look, I think, Sarah, it's already started to go down that track, as you say, through Ben. It's something he's really keen on. We're not trying to live off our history or whatever. We're actually embracing it as being an important part of the current players understanding what it means to be part of the Essendon Football Club, in most cases for a very short period of their careers. So Ben has taken it on as a real cause. The players have loved it. Mark Harvey has been involved. You know, the best example I've seen was at the start of the season, we had the jumper presentation and each player was asked to reach out to a player who had worn the same jumper number and invite him to the presentation, and they did that. It was probably the best feeling in any Essendon function I've been at. And you looked across the room, here's 20-year-old Harry Jones talking to 80-year-old Ken Fraser, captain of our 1965 premiership team. And I'm not sure which of those two was more excited, but they're both an integral part of the Essendon Footy Club.
It is just awesome stuff. And Xavier, I suppose in your role, you're charged with bringing this to life, and in an operational sense, how have you set about making sure that it's a celebration and that all elements are properly looked at?
Yeah, we've invested heavily in this, Sarah. It's important we bring it to life for, the current past player, for the past players, the current players, the players all come ahead of us. For our members and supporters. So we invested, we've got an 8-part documentary series which will be of the highest quality, and Dave Barham, who's a board member but a big Bombers man, has been right behind that and has a particular skill set in that area, which in partnership with Foxtel and KO will come to life from the 19th of October this year. So that's something for our members to look forward to.
That is going to be fabulous. I can't wait to watch that across Fox Footy and also KO, and it will form the centrepiece of the celebrations. So we're going to see faces young and old from the red and black and hear some of the best stories. What parts of it are you most looking forward to Essendon people seeing?
Yeah, I've supported Essendon my entire life, as you have, as Paul has, and then you come in with there's a perception of what Essendon means to people, and then you go and work at the football club, and I have for over a decade now, and you realise how much you genuinely understand the characters, the people, the successes, the challenges, and this is a story that brings all of that to life, and it's really it's heartwarming in many parts. The successes are the obvious areas, but when you think about what Reynolds, Hutchison, Coleman, what they meant to so many different people from that era and how significant they were in their lives, just beyond football, that to me was, that was something that really stood out. What
was Dermot Brereton doing in there? He's a Bomber hater.
David Parkin, and there was a couple of outsiders that we allowed in. But
get the full picture.
Exactly. But it's, we all love the game of Australian rules football, and as Paul said, 150-year celebration is nothing to be sneezed at. That is a significant milestone, and it's going to be a really proud moment for our members, for our supporters, for our past players and our current players, and we're looking forward to it.
A fabulous way to get your footy fix in the months ahead as well. So you can watch it across Foxtel, Fox Footy and KO. And 2021 EFC members who are new or returning to KO will receive a month of KO on us to share in this unique look at this great club. Details will be communicated via email in mid-October. It is an 8-part doco, as Xavier said, that you can watch across Foxtel, Fox Footy and KO, and that will be a wonderful way to get ready for season 2022. Another key component of the 150-year celebrations is a new look logo that is going to form a really important part of the identity. Can you tell us a bit about that, Xavier?
Yeah, it's a logo that has been designed in-house. It's a logo that we feel captures the essence of Essendon. It takes parts of logos of past years and brings them together to form our 150th year logo. We used on our Guernsey, we used in a whole lot of apparel and collateral throughout the year, and we think it best reflects the 150-year history of our football club.
We'll look forward to seeing that, particularly on the jumper next year. The book. I think every key part of history is having something chronicled on paper, a collector's item that people can cling on to pass down to future generations. This is a really special thing, isn't it, Paul?
It really is, Sarah, and it's, I think about some of the supporters that reach out to me, that send correspondence. So, there's Ron, 80 years old, his son, his grandson, fanatical Essendon supporters. I suspect his father and grandfather were as well. That family revolves around the club. They will sit down with this book and they'll see the history of this club in a way that I know is going to just really excite them. It'll bring some great memories back and some great thoughts about the future.
Oh, I cannot wait to read this one. The book will feature rare photographs and star player profiles, and those who purchase it now will have the opportunity to upload a photo which will then be included in a personalised copy of the book. How cool is that? Members can pre-order now at efc.com.au. All right, next up, any history of the Essendon Football Club would not be complete without this legendary figure.
Kevin Sheedy has pulled another one. It is unbelievable, this man. What lengths will he go? He's applied the cold spoon treatment to the weather sock.
Windsock's good. There's a lot of stories of that, but one of the major stories that everybody forgets is the brand on it hadn't paid their account, so they made me tie it down.
To listen to Dawson, Dawson to me, it'd be a pink marshmallow, Dawson, and Miller would be a white marshmallow. That's about where I see those two
softies, you know.
And the marshmallows are flying out here at the moment, Bruce. A few are hitting Kevin, but luckily they're very soft.
The marshmallow stuff? No, the only part I had was cleaning my front lawn the next morning with all marshmallows people had thrown over the front fence. Kevin made it all up. It was a very good tactic, and he sort of thrived on it.
We got 72,000 in the game. No one ever wrote and said thanks, except the confectionery industry sold out.
He's a big man, Sheeds. He'll be able to take all of this.
There's a line, right? There's a line down the middle, and this side's insanity and this side's juniors. And he walks it like this.
This country's getting soft. When I was playing, it used to be rotten fruit. Now it's marshmallows.
Marshmallows, so much fun from Kevin Sheedy, the master coach who delivered the Bombers 4 flags. He joins us now. Kevin, did you have an enormous amount of fun reliving some of these crazy moments across your football career?
Look, a lot of fun. Yeah, a lot of fun. And I can't believe I did some of it, to be honest, you know. But, you know, when you turn up to Essendon, and I was about 32 years of age, and look, there was more churches in Essendon than people. We're surrounded by airports, race courses, and we just had to do something to rattle a cage. And we started playing practice matches outside of Essendon, anywhere in the country at all, you know, and that was one of the best things we did. So when it got down to games, you know, we wanted to fill the MCG, and it's hard to fill the MCG in home and away games against clubs like a North Melbourne who don't attract many people to their games. So the marshmallow game was right out there a little bit, definitely left. The windsock was, like, West Coast never had a windsock, so why should we allow them to have ours anyway? Yeah, so we'll just tie it down. It was true that the sponsor of the windsock hadn't paid up, so I said, well, we'll make it a tactical, you know, gesture. And they didn't like it at all. They couldn't handle it, West Coast, you know. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. And look, the big thing going from Windy Hill was incredible, because if you take 20,000 attendance to the MCG, you go broke. And the wonderful late Ron Evans, the chairman, said, look, we're just going to need you to really get into some ideas. And so they actually sent me to Disney World in Florida. And that was the best course I'd done, other than footy coaching courses and sport coaching, that you could actually combine the two together to try and fill the MCG. And then when we come back, we started with Anzac Day, and then Dreamtime, and then obviously the Country Festival, which has been fantastic. So look, we did a lot of good things. The club was fantastic at saying, look, take it easy, tread warily, all that. And I'm sitting there, because I'm in a hurry, and they're very conservative, the Bombers, or, you know. And I'm there to coach, but they wanted the marketing there as well. So it was a great partnership, both mixing it. The players were sensational, because they could understand the deal in the end, because if you put it on the table, 20,000 is not going to keep our club alive. It's as simple as that. And in that period, South Melbourne and Fitzroy disappeared off the map of Melbourne. And so we had to make sure that we weren't going to.
Not just sport, it's entertainment as well. You came across so many players during your coaching time. You basically spanned generations. There must be some special ones that appear in this documentary.
Oh, I think Michael Long was pretty special for us. You know, we'd had one Aboriginal boy play in over 130 years at the club. And he was a magnificent halfback flanker. And so Noel Jackins said, look, there's a skinny little Aboriginal kid up in the Northern Territory. He's down playing in Adelaide at West Torrens under Paul Weston. So we got some tapes of him, and he was that lean. I thought, mate, he'll get killed, this kid. But by gee, what a player he was, you know, by the time he strengthened up. And so he's probably one of the great stories of our club. And of course, I think also, obviously, Wanganeen, because when we signed Wanganeen, we found 5,000 women wanted to join the club. And I thought, well, I immediately went to the recruiting department and said, look, we've got to get some more spunky blokes in here, and we'll get the buffets later in the draft, okay? So we had a lot of fun, and of course, or words to that effect. But we had a wonderful time, and I did personally. I bagged for the Bombers when I was a little kid, and to be able to coach them for 27 years is just a fantastic dream for me to come true. And to be able to just be a part, we lost a lot of games and we won a lot of games, but that's a part of footy.
Gavin Wanganeen was my favourite player, so you did well there. Sheeds, all right, well, this documentary doesn't just focus on the wonderful moments, and there are so many of those, but also on some of the not-so-rosy moments across the past few years.
In 2017, Jobe Watson gave back to the AFL the Brownlow medal that he was presented with in 2012.
It was sort of like the final crushing thing about that whole episode.
What happened to Jobe was horrific. Yeah, state on fact, I don't believe that they took anything illegal. I certainly don't believe that Jobe got any advantage during that year, unfair advantage, and should definitely still have his Brownlow.
Through Watson, an opportunity. They need to take an opportunity. Watson knew that. Captain Fantastic kicks the goal.
I found that the most difficult thing, that you could have that taken away from you without there being any justification. I don't believe real justification.
Jobe was just a worthy Brownlow medalist, and that, I'm sure, eats up at him as much as he doesn't show it.
Jobe Watson should still have his Brownlow. Yeah, things like that, you can't just say, oh, forget it. So you can't forget it, but you can move on.
I'm hopeful that one day it'll be reinstated.
He was a champion footballer, there's no question about that at all. Who was put in a really difficult position that was unfair on him, that should never have happened. And that shouldn't and won't define Jobe Watson.
I don't really care about the medal, because it doesn't change how I felt about it. Like if I felt like I had cheated, then I wouldn't have accepted the medal in the first place. So whether or not someone else has it, or whether or not someone else views it that I wasn't the deserved winner, that's fine. But it doesn't change how I felt or I feel about it. If it doesn't change how I feel about it, how relative is it that I am the owner of it or not? I feel like I am.
Some pretty raw emotions there from the key players at the Essendon Football Club, and that will be compelling viewing, no doubt. Xavier, how important was it to not gloss over that particular period in the club's history?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it's part of our history, and we won't let that define us. And you just have to listen to the way Jobe spoke to that then, and talks to the person that he is. Our history is made up of a whole lot of people like that. And we're very proud of him. And unfortunately, those moments have happened, but they are part of our history. Every club has them. And, we look forward now, and Jobe is a great Essendon person, will always be.
And in looking forward, we look to season 2022. Kevin, it seems like a wonderful time to add to the trophy cabinet, maybe with another Premiership Cup in the 150th year celebration. The boys look good this year.
Excellent. I thought that, when you look back, we'd lost 3 of those first 6 games by 1 point. 2 and 3 points, so we could have won 14 wins quite readily. And but the way we did it, and the club and Ben Rutten in particular, playing the young kids, was the best thing that happened. And it's a great credit to him and the coaching staff and the players. And I think in the end, when you look back, what we did this year will give us a really strong foundation for the next 3 years. So I think that we'll peak in 3 years, but it'll be a step by step. You just don't turn up. I mean, you've only got to look at the 2 clubs in the grand final in 2021. They've done hard yards to get there, and but we're coming to an opportunity higher on the landscape in Essendon's history to do well.
Cannot wait. Xavier, what are you most looking forward to about this 150th celebration?
Well, there'll be a lot of really unique moments. The milestone game itself, all those sorts of things that are unique to the 150th that our fans will love and will announce in due course. But I'm just looking forward to seeing and watching the team continue to develop. I think there's a great alignment amongst everyone at the club where we're going. We know it's not linear, but there's great opportunity in front of us.
And Paul, how proud are you of the way things are shaping?
Oh, look, I think it's terrific, Sarah. I'm just sitting here thinking, as Xavier and Kevin speak, that timing's everything. What better time to celebrate 150th than when you have a young team on the up whose potential is still untapped, and they're going to write their part of the next 150-year story. And we're launching our AFL women's team in 2022. And, I think people look back in many years' time and see that as being one of sort of 3 or 4 significant events in the history of this club. So put all that together, and it's a great year to be celebrating 150th.
It certainly is. Thank you all so much for your time. So many things to look forward to over the next 12 months. And remember, if you are not a member of the Essendon Football Club, you can do that now. You can head to the website to don the sash in season 2022. So much to look forward to. Thank you for your time.